Hello everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel. In this particular video, we will solve one more problem in which we have to compute the taxable income from business. So in this particular video, I will teach you one of the different method to solve this particular problem, one of the easiest method in which we can solve the problem. But this method can be only practiced while you are solving the problems in home. So they have given a question in which they have given a P&L account of Mr. X. So first let us classify, let us write here whether it is an admissible or inadmissible. But in exam, you should not write it on the question paper. While practicing, you can practice, you can use this particular method. First, let us classify whether it is an admissible expense or inadmissible expenses. So rent is an admissible expenses. I will write it as A. A means admissible expenses. Next, establishment charges. Establishment charges is also an admissible expenses. General charges is also admissible expenses. Household expenses. Household expenses is expenses related to your house property. ಮನೆಗೆ ಸಂಬಂಧಪಟ್ಟಿರೋ expenses ಅದು. So that is an inadmissible expenses. It is not related to the business. So it is an inadmissible expenses. Commission is related to business, so it is admissible expenses. Next, bad debts. Provisions, any provisions, if you see the word provisions, then it is inadmissible. Provisions ಅನ್ನೋ ವರ್ಡ್ ನಿಮ್ಗೆಲ್ಲರೂ ಕಾಣಿಸ್ತು ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಅದು inadmissible ಅಂತ, because income tax will not allow any provisions. Next, advertisement is a part of business expense, so it is an admissible expenses. Next is repairs to house property. Repairs to house property means it is the expenses related to the house property, so it is not nowhere related to the business, so it is inadmissible expenses. ಮನೆಗೆ ಖರ್ಚಾಗಿರುವಂತಹ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೆನ್ಸಸ್ ಅದು, ಹೌಸ್ ಪ್ರಾಪರ್ಟಿಗೆ ಖರ್ಚು ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೀರಾ ನೀವು, ಬಿಸ್ನೆಸ್ಗೆ ಖರ್ಚು ಮಾಡಿಲ್ಲ, ಹಾಗಾಗಿ ಅದು inadmissible expenses. Next, income tax. Income tax, as we all know that we are computing this particular table to find out the taxable income. So from that taxable income, we will calculate the income tax. So before only income tax, we cannot give any deduction. Now, even the format na calculate ಮಾಡೋದಕ್ಕೆ ಉದ್ದೇಶ ಏನು ಅಂದ್ರೆ to find out the taxable income. Taxable income na find out ಮಾಡಿ ಅದರ ಮೇಲೆ ಇನ್ಕಮ್ ಟ್ಯಾಕ್ಸ್ ನಾವು ಚಾರ್ಜ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ. ಹಾಗಾಗಿ ಯಾವುದೇ ರೀತಿ ಇನ್ಕಮ್ ಟ್ಯಾಕ್ಸ್ ಪೇ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರು ಅದನ್ನ ನಾವು ಕನ್ಸಿಡರ್ ಮಾಡೋದಿಲ್ಲ. ಸೊ ಇಟ್ ಇಸ್ ಅನ್ inadmissible expenses. Next, depreciation. Depreciation is an admissible expenses. Depreciation is admissible expenses because depreciation should be charged on the fixed assets, so that expenses is allowed. Now come to the credit side. Gross profit, you ignore the gross profit na ignore ಮಾಡಿ. Interest on government securities. So it is not your main business. ನಿಮ್ಮ main business activity ಅಲ್ಲ. ನೀವು ನಿಮ್ಮ ಕಂಪನಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಬಂದಿರತಕ್ಕಂತಹ ಹಣವನ್ನ ಯಾವ್ದಾದ್ರು ಗವರ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಸೆಕ್ಯೂರಿಟೀಸ್ ನಲ್ಲಿ ಇನ್ವೆಸ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಿರ್ತೀರಾ, ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಇಂಟ್ರೆಸ್ಟ್ ಅನ್ನ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿರ್ತಾರೆ. ಅದು ನಿಮ್ಮ ಮೇನ್ ಬಿಸ್ನೆಸ್ ಆಕ್ಟಿವಿಟಿ ಅಲ್ಲ, ಹಾಗಾಗಿ ಇಟ್ ಇಸ್ ಅ ನಾನ್ ಬಿಸ್ನೆಸ್ ಇನ್ಕಮ್. ಅದನ್ನ NBI ಅಂತ ಕರಿತೀವಿ, ನಾನ್ ಬಿಸ್ನೆಸ್ ಇನ್ಕಮ್. ರೆಂಟ್ ಫ್ರಮ್ ಹೌಸ್ ಪ್ರಾಪರ್ಟಿ, ನೀವು ಬಿಸ್ನೆಸ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಇನ್ಕಮ್ ಬರ್ತಾ ಇಲ್ಲ, ಇದು ನೀವು ಒಂದು ಹೌಸ್ ಪ್ರಾಪರ್ಟಿನ ಇಟ್ಕೊಂಡಿದ್ದೀರಾ, ಆ ಹೌಸ್ ಪ್ರಾಪರ್ಟಿನ ರೆಂಟ್ ಬೇಸಿಸ್ ಮೇಲೆ ನೀವು ಲೆಟ್ ಔಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೀರಾ, ಅದರಿಂದ ಬರ್ತಿರೋ ರೆಂಟ್. ಸೊ ಇದು ಬಿಸ್ನೆಸ್ಗೆ ಸಂಬಂಧ ಇಲ್ಲ, ಇಟ್ ಇಸ್ ಅ ನಾನ್ ಬಿಸ್ನೆಸ್ ಇನ್ಕಮ್. First, try to classify like this. In exam, you should not write anything on the question paper, but in the last page of your booklet, there is a rough page column. In that, you can classify like this, so that it will be very easy to solve the problem. Clear? Now, let us come to the additional information. Actual bad debts amounted to rupees 2000. So bad debts is an admissible expenses. Bad debts ಅನ್ನೋದು admissible expenses. Provision of bad debts ಅನ್ನೋದು inadmissible. But ಇದು bad debts ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಏನು, actual loss ಆಗಿರೋದು ಬಿಸ್ನೆಸ್ಗೆ. So it is a admissible expenses. Depreciation amounted to rupees 6000. So ಈ 6000 is an admissible. The actual depreciation ಎಷ್ಟಾಗಿದೆ, 6000 rupees, ಅದು admissible. But ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಏನು 10,000 rupees ತೋರಿಸಿದಾರೋ ಅದನ್ನ ಇನ್ಅಡ್ಮಿಸಿಬಲ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ. ಸೊ ಅಡ್ಜಸ್ಟ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಅಂತ ಬರ್ಕೋತೀನಿ ಇಲ್ಲಿ, ಯಾಕಂದ್ರೆ ಅಡ್ಜಸ್ಟ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಇದೆ ಅನ್ನೋದು ನಮ್ಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಾಗುತ್ತೆ. Now what we need to check is what and all the inadmissible expenses we have in P&L account. We have household expenses, provision for bad debts, and repairs to house property, and income tax. ಈ 4 inadmissible expenses P&L account ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇದೆ. ಇದನ್ನ ತೋರಿಸ್ಬಾರ್ದಿತ್ತು P&L account ಅಲ್ಲಿ, ಬಟ್ ಅವರು ತೋರಿಸ್ಬಿಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಸೊ ಇವಾಗ ನಾವು ಅವ್ರು ತೋರಿಸಿರೋದ್ರಿಂದ ಏನಾಗಿದೆ, ಇನ್ಕಮ್ ಕಮ್ಮಿ ಆಗಿದೆ ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ. ಸೊ ಇನ್ಕಮ್ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಆಗ್ಬೇಕು ಅಂದ್ರೆ ನಾವೇನ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕು, ಇದನ್ನೆಲ್ಲವನ್ನು ಕೂಡ ಆಡ್ ಬ್ಯಾಕ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕಾಗತ್ತೆ. Now these are all the inadmissible expenses. What I have marked in the red color, it is inadmissible expenses. They shouldn't have shown in the P&L account, but the business has shown it in their P&L account, due to which their income would have come down, their profit would have come down. So if we add it back to the profit, then we will get the actual profits. So that will be shown under this particular heading, that is inadmissible expenses debited to P&L account. Debited is nothing but deducted. Debited andru onde, deducted andru onde. Okay. Before that, we have something called as net profit. So first I will write the net profit. Net profit is 4,02,000 rupees. Net profit. Now for this net profit, we will add the inadmissible expenses, which and all are shown in the P&L account. So which is the first one? First one is household expenses. Household expenses. How much is the amount? It is 6,500. Next. Provisions for bad debts. Provisions for bad debts. Provision for bad debts. Any provisions we will not allow in income tax. What is the provision is for bad debts? It is 5,000 rupees. Next, third inadmissible expenses is repairs to house property. Repairs to house property, as we all know that it is nowhere related to the business expense. So how much is the repairs to house property? It is 15,000 rupees. Next, income tax. Income tax is the inadmissible expenses. Income tax rupees. How much is the income tax? It is 20,000. Now we have depreciation. So in depreciation, if you check the P&L account, they have shown 10,000 rupees. So P&L account alli 10,000 rupees ತೋರಿಸಿದ್ದಾರೆ. But actual depreciation ಎಷ್ಟು ಚಾರ್ಜ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕಾಗಿತ್ತು? 6,000 ಮಾತ್ರ. Which means 4,000 rupees they have shown extra amount as depreciation. So that 4,000 rupees we will show it as inadmissible expenses. So 10,000 rupees is the depreciation expenses shown in the P&L account, but the actual depreciation charged is 6,000 rupees. The difference 4,000 rupees is the extra amount they have shown, so that we will not consider it as an inadmissible expenses. Now let us add everything. 6,500 plus 5,000 plus 15,000 plus 20,000 plus 4,000. It is 50,500. When you add back everything, you will get 50,500. This is the total inadmissible expenses which they have shown in the P&L account. Hope it is clear with the inadmissible expenses. Now let us move on to the admissible expenses. Let us move on to the admissible expenses. Provisions, yeah, everything we have shown. Household expenses, provisions, income tax, and depreciation. Yes. Now in the question we have admissible expenses. See this: rent, establishment charges, general charges, commission, advertisements. These are all the admissible expenses which should be deducted, but they have already given the deduction. ಅದನ್ನ ಆಲ್ರೆಡಿ ಅವರು P&L ಅಕೌಂಟ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ತೋರಿಸಿದ್ದಾರೆ. P&L ಅಕೌಂಟ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಆಲ್ರೆಡಿ ಅದನ್ನೆಲ್ಲ ತೋರಿಸಿರೋದ್ರಿಂದ we will ignore that. So whatever the admissible expenses is there in P&L account, that we will ignore because they have already shown it in the P&L account. But if you come to adjustment, Here, actual bad debts amounted to rupees 2000 rupees. This is also an admissible expenses. But in P&L account, they have not shown. Are you able to see any bad debts here? Provisions is there. Provision is different and actual bad debts are different. So here actual bad debts amounted to rupees 2000 rupees. They have not shown in the P&L account. So we will show it up. So here we have under the less column, which is known as admissible expenses not debited. Not debited, or in layman words we can call it as not shown in the P&L account. Not shown in P&L account. So what is that? First one is admissible bad debts or bad debts. Or we can write it in the way they have given the question, actual bad debts. How much is the actual bad debts? It is 2000 rupees. 2000 rupees. Now come to the credit side. We have two non-business income. We have two non-business income. So non-business income, they should not show it in the P&L account, but they have shown these non-business income in the P&L account. So we will reduce it because it is a non-business income. They have shown it in the P&L account, due to which the business income would have come up, but it is not a business income. So when we reduce that, we will get the actual income. So these two we will reduce. So it comes under this column, non-business or professional income credited to P&L account. So any non-business or any non-professional income, if it is shown in the P&L account, that we need to show it here. So we have two non-business income. First one is interest on government securities. Interest on government securities, it is 25,000 rupees. Next is rent from house property. Rent from house property. So rent from house property is also 25,000. So total amount is 50,000. So this is less. We have to reduce it because it is a non-business income. And as it is only single item here, actual bad debts, I will directly write it in the outer column. So now let us try to find out the answer. So 4,02,000 plus 50,500 minus 2,000 minus 50,000 will give us an answer of 4,500 rupees. So the taxable income from business is 4,500 rupees. But according to P&L account, what was the net profit? It was 4,02,000 rupees. But the actual profit or actual taxable income is 4,500 rupees. So this is how we need to calculate the problem, the taxable income from business. Hope you have understood how to calculate this problem. If you have any doubt in these problems, you can ask your doubts, put your doubts in the comment box so that I'll respond to your doubts and queries as soon as possible. Thank you for watching the video. I'll come back with the next video.